sometimes even the bad comments about the unrelativeness of these parts could really help.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think if it's the case for you, but I have never kind of taken serious the bad comments. I really like that.
Personally, I've never cared, but I think some people struggle with it if it's them on the video.
Yeah.
So with your content, obviously, you could take it as a criticism of your editing or your choice of video or whatever. But I think when it's somebody there and they're the one on the camera, it can make people feel conscious.
So you never struggled with that?
No. I mean, I think it's about the. I think to a certain extent, I've just never cared. First of all, I always knew that comments and engagement helped the video go viral.
Yeah.
So if I was getting loads of negative comments, I would actually be happy. I'd be like, this is great. This is going to make the video
Yeah,
go
I mean,
more
the thing
viral.
is moving kind of. Because what I did, I uploaded 3 videos that I showed my face. And I really care about the bad stuff. Especially if there is a kind of very natural criticism, I really like it. I really like people that are, they can say in a not really nice way, but I really like that one as well, because there are too many, I mean, good comments, which I really appreciate. And but the bad ones, I think, are the most important ones for me.
Depends, to be honest with you. Like, some of the comments are so dumb, bro. Like, come on. I mean,
I'm not talking like, about those ones, but some opinion at least.
Different platforms have different, I'd say, types of comments. I'd say YouTube comments, even on shorts, are usually more educated, more thought out than comments on any other platform.
I know where you are going, right? To the Instagram, right? The most toxic comments.
Yeah, Instagram can be toxic. TikTok is sometimes quite surprisingly good, as in thought out comments. But I'd say YouTube can't be topped, really. I don't know quite why, but it is. I would say this: if somebody's watching and is creating content and is worried, first of all, you can't get into this game if you care about other people's opinions. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, you've got to take, there's audience feedback. If the audience just hate the content and just aren't reacting to it, then you've got to take it into account and think, well, how can I improve, or can I take that into account and change something? But most of the time, to be honest with you, bro, a lot of the comments are trash. Like, they're just pointless comments. But some people get really hurt by it, Like my mom, for example, she's a journalist, right? Well, she was a journalist for 30 years.
Yeah.
Amazing writer, taught me to write well. But she just can't handle negative comments at all. And bless her, she just gets really upset by them. And when she would write an article for the newspaper, of course, back in the day, she'd write for the print newspaper.
Yeah.
And you get people write in handwritten letters and send them, mail them to the office. She'd get a bad letter, she'd be upset. And then when it went to online, it was online articles, then people would just comment underneath. Anonymous people, no picture, nothing. She would get bad comments, she'd be really upset. And that's just the way she is. No matter what I can tell my mom of saying, you know what, why do you care about some random person's opinion on the internet? You don't even know they're anonymous, etc., etc. She still gets really hurt by it. So, of course, when she stopped doing that job and moved on, she didn't really get that same kind of feedback, and she was much happier. She didn't have all these. But for me, I've never cared. So I don't know. Maybe there's certain types of people who just aren't cut out.
I think that's the case with all the parents, actually, because even here, I mean, Armenia is a very traditional country. You have noticed that for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And here, I mean, when someone is taking a camera and starting filming himself, there is one particular barrier that he is going to kind of push and break. The one that the opinion of other Armenians. Like, sometimes you would get criticism like it's a shame, for example. And obviously, this is your first time in front of the camera. It will be shame. It will be cringe, for example. But I mean, I think most of the people here that are not really trying to film, I mean, not even here, but I think it's also the case for many countries. It's kind of, they can't really break the barrier of that first kind of attention from their relatives. Even though it's going to watch 10 people, for example, it's going to be 10 people of their mates meet their parents or someone.
That's true. That's definitely true. Like, even for me today, I can post a story on Instagram, and the difference between stories is you can see who's viewed it. Whereas on a video, you can't see who's viewed it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we've all had it. You post a story, you check who's viewed it, and then it's sort of, let's say I could get 100,000 story views, but I'm thinking about this story that I posted, and I'm seeing one person or two people who have seen it. I'm thinking, I wonder how they were reacting when they saw that story. Like, were they sat at home? How did they react? Did someone else see it and go, what's going on there? Like, even me, to this day, I can think about that small little thing. But you're right. Maybe people just don't get over that barrier, because especially when you're first starting, they're the only people who are going to be seeing it, right?
Yeah.
And I think you say it about Armenia, and people saying it's a shame and it's this and it's that. The thing is with that, bro, is it's very much like Yerevan and Armenia. Yerevan is a small city. Yeah. Armenia is a small country. And in many regards, it's a one city country. Like, okay, you've got like Gyumri, you've got a few other places, but the main city where most of the people are is Yerevan. So if you spend most of your time in Yerevan, most of your life in Yerevan, it's like living on a small island almost. And it is, and the size of the city is kind of like it's like a small town in the UK, basically, for size.
Yeah.
Now, some people, like, I'm from a small town in the UK, and everybody kind of knows everybody. And I felt much more comfortable doing what I was doing when I moved to London. Because now I was in this massive city, 9 or 10 million people. I'm a nobody in London.
Yeah.
But back home, people knew people from school, this kind of thing. So it was more harder to break through that barrier there, I'd say.
Did they meet you after your fame or before that?
What, like people from school? Or?
Yeah, from your hometown, actually.
I've not had contact with many of them, to be honest. Like, I didn't have many true friends from school, let's say, that I kept in touch with. So yeah, I haven't really spoken to many of them.
Yeah, but have you ever faced the criticism regarding your job? I mean, the thing that you are doing, the magic tricks, not from parents, as your father said that you'll need to kind of think about more serious things, for example, right? But from other people from your age, maybe.
From my age?
Yeah.
Before I started, or?
Yeah, before that. I don't think after your fame.
No, not before I started, because when the thing is with magic is when you're performing magic, you're basically evoking an emotion in people where, especially when you're young, you're evoking an emotion in people, which is instantly, by default, is wow, amazing. So just by basically, not to devalue what I do, but just by me doing my job, the reaction is astonishment. Okay, that's the end result of a magic trick. Okay, if I was you could perform a magic trick not so well, but the end result is still amazement. You get what I'm saying? Whereas if you're a singer, you could get a singer who kind of sings a song okay, gets through it, is a bit out of tune. Okay, the reaction's like, oh, okay, good, yeah, that's good. You know, so because of that, and because people don't see magic much when you're a kid, when you're like 17, 18, the reaction is, oh my God, you're so, mate, you're going to be on TV, you're going to be famous, you're going to be... So I think a lot of the people probably expected it almost, which is kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
But they would have thought the same to all the other magicians. If they met another magician instead of me, who 10 years later has done nothing, they would have not thought anything of it. But I think some people might have expected it. But with regards to people... I think you get more criticism for social media, for being a social media creator, than from being a magician. Like, there was something I saw the other week, which I thought was funny. There's a guy, and he does like these street interviews, or he asks people questions in public. Yeah. And he's in a mall, and he asked two kids a question. I can't remember what he asked. And they're walking along, and he asked the question, and the kid he said something like, get a job, or get a real job, get a 9 to 5. And the guy was shocked, and the kids just walked off. Now, you think in a positive society, okay, this guy's making videos, he's making content, he's found a new way to make money, he's not having to do a normal kind of job. You'd think people would be like, no, forget what the kids said. You're doing you're providing content, you're making people, you're entertaining people, and you found a new way to make money. Good on you. No, the comments were all like, yeah, that kid's right. Yeah, get a job, get a real job. These social media influencers, they do nothing. They just sit there making videos. Well, I'm working a proper job. So it's like a badge of honor. Okay, somebody's working in a factory. That's a badge of honor. But the guy who's thought to do something different, they want. So I'd say, yeah, to answer that question, it comes from the people against you making content, because they only see the front end of it. They only see the video. They don't see the business side behind it. They don't see the hours of stress, the reacting to negative comments, the coming up with ideas, building a team, building a business around it.
Is that envy?
It's envy, but it's also they don't understand the model, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody's doing pranks, for instance, okay, most of the pranksters you see online, it's fake pranks, okay?
Yeah.
Now, they know what's gonna work. They come up with prank ideas, and then they'll do the prank. They'll slap cream in someone's face. Oh no, I can't believe it. Done, right? I hate to ruin Christmas for some kids watching, but that's the way it works. Now, somebody sees that, they're like, look at this loser. He just sits there pranking his poor mom or girlfriend all day, and then just posting these stupid videos. What? Because they're acting. They're just acting like a movie act, like Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp. They're an actor.
Yeah.
But they're doing it as them. They're the character. So the reflection is on them. So if you're a prankster and you're pranking your grandmother, and the grandmother's like, this is great, I love doing these videos behind the scenes, but she gets pranked, people are just going to think, oh, this guy's just terrible to his poor grandmother, right? Do you get what I'm saying? It's a strange grey area where people don't understand it's acting.
Yeah. And they also really kind of envy because of the fact that you are also making a living off of it.